the time to start. We're live. I'm just trying to help me, friends. If you're out there, help me. I'm just trying to tell Claudia this is not the right time to start smoking again. Just in case you're out there, don't tell her not to start smoking again. This is not a good time for that.
Just kidding. If my parents are watching, I never smoked. Those were somebody else's.
Ever. Yeah. You were just holding them for a friend?
Those were Corinne's, not mine. You made a mistake when you said I couldn't go to the Vince Gill concert because I was smoking.
Wait, you were going to go to a Vince Gill concert?
I can't remember if it was Vince Gill or the Cranberries.
That's
it was one or the other.
Or wait, how are those in the same category?
This is me.
Vince Gill and the Cranberries.
This is me.
That doesn't make any sense.
This is who I am.
Yeah. Well, don't.
But anyways, they found my cigarettes, not my cigarettes, Corinne's cigarettes, and
mm-hmm.
You're grounded.
You gotta keep your story straight when you lie.
And you can't go to the concert, and I can't remember which one it was, but it was something, and I was like, oh, it wasn't even mine, and it totally was.
Like, of course it was.
Back.
Oh, she's frozen. I think she's gonna tell you.
Cigarettes.
Okay. Oh, weird. That was weird.
Oh.
It did a whole weird thing.
That was weird. Oh, glitch.
Yeah.
$2.50 a pack in those days.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so you're saying it was okay then because they were cheaper. It was affordable. You weren't breaking the bank by buying your cigarettes.
Being frugal, kids. It's
That's right. Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Welcome. It's our first show back.
Of 2021. Good evening, Richard Malmos. Nice to see you. Cheers to you. All right, let's do the drink. What are you drinking tonight?
A Manhattan.
A Manhattan.
Did you make one? I sent you a picture of all my goodies that I bought last night. And I made a Manhattan. I even bought new, because I didn't have. I lost my my martini glasses, amongst other things, in the divorce. So I went out and bought a whole new set today.
Well, congratulations.
Oh, yesterday. I made it yesterday because I don't know if he's on my Instagram. I made a Manhattan for my cats.
Yep, it's come to that. This is what the quarantine has done to Claudia. She's making alcoholic drinks for her cat. Yes.
I was like, we're gonna have a night out.
Did he drink any? That's really what I want to know. Did he have any?
No, he took off.
How rude! How rude!
That's what I said. Richard, what do you mean? What? You have cats?
Yeah, and you know Claudia, So,
what are you having?
In case you're interested, I'm having the tamarind vodka.
Ooh.
Tamarind vodka with I'm going all it wasn't at my Ralph's, by the way. But I'm going full Mexican here with my tamarind vodka and my Sidral Mundet apple soda.
Ooh, look at that.
Let me tell you.
Nice.
Let
me tell you.
It's pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. Well, welcome everybody to CNC in Conversation and our first one of 2021. Thank God last year's over. Although
slow your roll.
I know it's kind of bleeding into this year.
We've already
it's bleeding in. I know. I'm trying to be optimistic.
I know. I'm
trying.
I was like, it literally minute to minute it changes. Like
I know it does.
Even just leading up to this, because I was like, I'm gonna be positive. I actually feel good. It's a good, earlier, just like before this, you don't know this, but I'm part of this. Well, you do know that I'm part of a movie trivia schmodown thing, but there was an award show that started at 4:00 today. So I was watching that, and it was just really cool to like see the community that came together this year with all of these people like all over the world, and people going through different things. They talked about people who are, dealing with cancer and stuff like that, and to have this community. And I was like, this is great. I was like, I'm in a positive mood. And then right afterwards, somebody posted a video of crazy lady. She's new in Congress, the one's like, I'm going to take my Glock on her mother, who's also an incredible racist. I saw that video. She's like, can we even still call them Mexicans? It's like, it's just like minute to minute, my emotions are changing.
You have to regulate. You got to regulate.
Yeah.
And I regulate by, just not looking at, I get all day long. I have a couple different group chats. I'm getting videos. I choose the times I want to look at them. I can't look all the time.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I can't.
Yeah.
It can be too much.
I know the inauguration is next week. It just seems so far away, and I'm so scared of what can happen.
It's amazing how 5 days can seem like it's an eternity away.
Because there was a very, very important meeting with My Pillow guy about enacting martial law or something like that. I'm like, My Pillow guy is on this meeting. Okay.
Yeah. Was he going to throw pillows at everyone? Yeah, so you can't. It's
Be positive.
Yeah,
be positive.
They will not be in the limelight for much longer. That's all I have to say.
Look at this Danish Richard Malmos trying to throw some Spanish.
Carajo! That's right, carajo. I think we should go ahead and bring our guests on. What do you think? Did you have more to say?
Do it. No.
I fear if we continue with the way we're going, it's gonna just.
Hold on. Let me put some positive things out there because there are.
All right, put some positive.
Happen. I'm gonna promote a show on HBO Max that I sent you guys a video. One of our group chats that we were just talking about. Is it Homeschool Musical 2020?
Oh, you did send that.
The Laura Benanti show. It started out as like an Instagram challenge at the beginning of pandemic because all of these seniors missed out on doing their senior musical. And she was like, if you post your song with this hashtag, I'll retweet it so people can see what you've been working on, because you start working on this stuff when you're in high school, like pretty early on.
Mm-hmm.
And so they started doing that. She got thousands and thousands of submissions, obviously, or like people posting their videos. And so they decided to turn it into a show. And they picked 7 kids, and it's incredibly moving and powerful. And these youngsters, I mean, like, I like to think that I had my shit together when I was, 17, 18. I still have vivid memories of it, but I was not as evolved as these kids are. I did not have the perspective like these kids are. They've had to experience so much more, like in their young years of like, the shooter drills and shooting drills and stuff like that, stuff that I just haven't had to deal with. Social media wasn't a thing at all when I was in high school.
No, thank God.
Thank God it wasn't a thing when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
But it's just an incredibly.
I'm really glad I already had a child by the time it came along. Really grateful for that.
But it's just an incredibly positive show, and it shows people from all walks of life. And they shot they got the song that they were supposed to sing in their show and shot a music video themselves around it. So it's also way better at editing and special effects and all that than I could ever dream of being. And I'm like, these kids are in high school.
Yeah. Well, they grew up with it. These were at their, their thumbs are very evolved. So they know what to do. Yeah. This is their world.
51 minutes long, guys.
The show. Okay.
Short.
All right. Well, I'll put that in.
Positive.
There. There it is. Okay, good. So go watch a happy show. That's good. All right, good. Well, let's bring them on. So we have. So excited. So excited. Yeah. Love these people. Jay and Sandi Johnson. I'm going to go ahead and just bring them on, and we'll talk about everything. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hey.
It's nice to see you guys. Thank you for joining us.
What a great time. Great to hear you and see you. As close as we can get these days.
I know. Yeah, this is kind of it.
When was it? When was the Christmas show? Was it 2 years ago? That I went down to
the live one?
Yeah. Oh, the real one, the live one.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
The one that we actually were together. And,
So it was 2019, so a little over a year ago.
Wow.
A little over a year ago. Yeah.
Seems forever.
Feels like 5 years ago, for sure.
Yeah.
Feels like
Yeah.
yeah. human contact.
Yeah, I mean, I keep thinking about just in a few weeks because I remember specifically being sent home from work March 13th, and it's to quarantine, and
Yeah.
it's just a few weeks away from being a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And
Yeah,
you mentioned
no.
the word I didn't understand. You said work. I
Well,
don't even know that
it's a
word.
thing that it's a new thing. It's new in my life again because I was one of the people that went, "Oh, you don't have a job anymore." A job.
I've skated home just in time because we had been in Berlin visiting our oldest son, and he was doing a show, and we had a great trip, and we got home, I think, February, like maybe 27th or something.
Just
like
the end of
that.
February.
Yeah, very end of
Wow.
February, and March quarantine, so that was it. So we
What I
got
remember
one little
is
fast trip in.
when we got back to LA,
Wow.
we went through immigration and customs. They separated people that had come from China on another section. So all the tourists coming in from China were over there because they might, we could solve the problem by doing that.
Wow.
Just bizarre. Yeah, bizarre.
Just because
What a weird time. Yeah, a date.
Great that you got on a trip to see your kid.
Yeah, got that in before.
Comes home, for several months out of the year. He lives in Berlin mostly, but he's been stuck over there. But Germany, they sort of had all their stuff together, and when they knew they were shutting down the first time, they started, both the first time and the second time they just shut down again. But both times, the first thing they did was make sure everybody had money in their bank accounts.
Yeah.
If you
Here's how
have-
much we're also shutting down.
Imagine that.
And he's not a citizen of Germany, but because he has a business, a small business, he, was taken care of. So none of them are as frantic and losing their homes and losing,
Yeah, it's a little more civilized.
Imagine that. Imagine.
I know. You just made me want to cry.
Yeah.
This is a way
Yeah.
to do it. But that's
moving on.
Hey, so we're all
Yeah.
moving to Germany. I'm half German. I mean, I'd like to delve into my roots a little more. Maybe this is a good time.
I'm an eighth German. I'm an eighth German.
Yeah.
But
Our son speaks, he's a translator as well as a musician, all things over there. But he speaks such good German that when we went over there, people didn't realize that he was American, because he's been passing as a German
wow.
time, because it's just easier to be not American for the last 4 years for some reason.
Yeah.
Wow.
They would try to speak in German to us, and we would kind of go. Okay.
You're like,
Wow.
no sé.
No say, exactly. No say.
I have a friend who goes, no speaker.
Yeah.
Well, we were in France a few years ago, in Paris a few years ago, and it sounds really weird, awful.
I was like, here we go.
I know. That time we were in Paris, but no, we had to keep apologizing, or people like taxi drivers would be, cab drivers would be like, "Oh, Americans," we're like, "We're not. No, we don't support him. We don't support him." I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
it's embarrassing.
I vote for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's talk about you. We're here to.
About you guys.
We love you guys. Now, well, thank you. For those who don't know, Sandi Johnson is a dancer and actor, and pretty much, I would venture to say, I don't know, pick a variety show, and Sandi was dancing on it through the late 70s or 80s, all through the 80s.
Say I've had some fabulous things, but one of them was very early on after I moved out here, just because he wanted to see what the talent was. The choreographer for the Carol Burnett show held an audition, and there were like 300 women there. It was to replace 2 women. And I'd been watching Carol Burnett show since back in Texas, growing up watching it. And so I got the audition, and he, at the end they've eliminated people, and at the end he goes, okay, so you'll be here Monday morning, 9 o'clock. Yes, thank you, I'll be there. I'm going to have a party.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I want to do that right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so iconic. She is so iconic. And
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty incredible. So
That's amazing. And of course, we'll show this a little bit of this later, but I think something that speaks to both Claudia and me, Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. You are in that. One of my all-time favorite, movie musicals.
Well, we just showed Alina, what, was it 2 years ago, a year ago?
I don't even think about a year ago, maybe, yeah. We just showed my daughter, and she's in love with it. Like, she plays the soundtrack and sings along to all of it. I mean, she just loves it. So, yeah. So that
did I get an album for her?
I think you did. That must be what she's listening to.
Yeah. I got her. I found an album of, because she collects them or whatever. Yeah.
For a moment in time, and I'm sure that it's VHS, maybe even Betamax tape, but Sandi, because she was in the movie, got the outtakes from that movie, Bert and Dolly, and it really was wonderful. What I remember the most was Bert and Dolly were they were setting up some shot of just the two of them, and he says, I thought of a great promo for this film. If I take off my tube, your chest and my head, we could be like the pawn shop balls. And it was just full of stuff like that.
My God.
I don't know anything to play.
Oh my God.
Wow. Claudia and I are both huge Dolly fans to begin with.
And Bert fans,
and Bert. I mean, you can't go wrong with that combination. So when I found out you were in that, I of course scoured it. There she is. Yeah. Amazing. But yeah, I mean,
is when I had huge hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we all did. We all had huge hair in the 80s.
No, some of us tried, and it did not happen because we have very thin, straight hair that doesn't curl. We tried to get a spiral perm, and it didn't work out.
Well, I tried to have feathered hair, and it didn't work out for me because I have curly hair. So.
But you guys are both from Texas. I'm from Texas.
That's why the decade ended.
That's right. The hair wasn't good for everyone.
Than what we had.
That's right. Claudia, you were saying?
Well, I was just reading over your bio, Jay, and both of you guys are from Texas, yes. Mm-hmm. We have a similar trajectory because I saw that you started working at Six Flags Over Texas, so that was one of your first gigs, as was mine and my sisters. We all started out in the theme park business. But one of my sister and I were angels in I guess it was a type of passion play that they were doing at Six Flags Over Texas. There's an amphitheater at that point. It was so much fun though. We were
passion play at Six Flags.
Yeah, we had like animals there too. It was like camels and all that stuff. My sister Stephanie and I were these angels. I don't know how they hired these two little dancers to be like, we had to sing the song, and we were in harnesses, and we had these like 6-foot fiberglass wings, and we looked like marshmallows because it was outside and it was so cold. So we layered. So we had like sweatpants and long johns and tights and the whole thing on top of or underneath our angel costumes and the wings, and then plus all the rigging and the harness. We just probably looked like pillows, just like flying back and forth.
Claudia, this was the Texas part, right? The Arlington.
Yeah, the Arlington. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Jay, what did you do there, Jay?
Probably something respectable.
My first year was my junior year in high school. And
yeah, that's when we started.
Yeah, I was in the campus review, which is mainly college kids, and it was that amphitheater, and we did like a review show, and I was the youngest kid in the show, and making $70 a week.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, when you're a kid, you're like, I'm making this theme park money? Come on.
Yeah. But then I continued to work for theme parks because the producer of that show went on to produce Six Flags Over Georgia, Six Flags Over St. Louis, all the things. And eventually I ended up at Astroworld, which was another theme park that's gone now, and Sandi was in that show. And it just
In Houston.
I was the break act. That was the one that simply was there for 7 minutes so that the dancers could change clothes. I mean, that's the only reason.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, if it was one costume, I would have had a job. She was the first dancer on in this line of dancers after my act. And I wouldn't let the dancers go on stage until I knew that my applause had crested and just started. And that was up to me, right? So I would hold her. I would go, no. Okay, now you can go. And we've been together since.
Oh, I love that.
No. Yeah, theme parks. I think theme parks for our generation, Claudia, was vaudeville. I mean, you do multiple hours a day and you learn your craft very quickly, or you hate it and never do it again.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really great for my act anyway.
I mean, I worked at Universal out here, and then also Six Flags Magic Mountain as well.
Right.
So
Right.
you're doing these sets like 5 times a day, and
Now,
and
you
I
said
just
you're a dancer.
Yeah. So Ballet Dallas was where I grew up in. It was Dallas Ballet for a long time, and then switched ownership and all that kind of stuff, and then Ballet Dallas. But that's kind of where I grew up. Yeah, and then I mean that's a whole story. We're here to talk about you guys.
Yeah.
Everything's a whole.
Yeah.
Right.
Really quickly, our friend Richard, he is one of our regulars, but he was also a Southern Palace show in 1976 at Six Flags.
Wow.
76. That's about the time we had moved out here by 75, I guess.
By 75. So I was going to ask.
Yeah, 75 we came out. Mainly because working at Six Flags, the producer of that show, Charles Meekley, left theme parks and opened a cabaret dinner theater, basically. Yeah.
Dinner.
But instead of a show, they would do a variety show. And we got hired to do that in Fort Worth, Texas. And a manager from Los Angeles came in to see the show. And he said, I really like that guy with the puppet thing. I really like that. So I connected with him. We moved out here from that. So, yeah.
Oh.
Got us here.
Wow. Yeah. And then Sandi, I mean, I made a joke that like pretty much pick a variety show and you danced on it. But it really does seem like you were like there was like a circuit of like was it a circuit of dancers that were doing all these shows, because you were definitely in a lot of them.
Yeah, it kind of was. I mean, there were different choreographers, and it was our job to first of all get to know them and hopefully do a good job for them, so that again, and so I was very fortunate with that, and I did some pretty cool stuff,
Yeah.
At the time, only recently, maybe the last 10 years, 20 years, have dancers had agents, as you know, Claudia. Back then it was like you had to know the choreographer, you had to be in with it.
Yes.
You had to get somebody to see it, because there was no agent that would submit you for a job. So Sandi got all of her stuff by just being there and dancing better than the rest.
Wow.
Yeah, 100%. It's really and it's also new that like SAG takes care of dancers and stuff like that. Like, I mean, it's been a whole
Yes.
Yeah.
Dancers are sort of like the last on the totem pole for sure. Yeah. Always.
I
Yeah.
understand that dancers are the hardest working, first ones there. They rehearse more than anybody else.
Yep.
And generally the least, the paid the less than anybody else. It's just like we got to have dancers, but we got 8 of them, so we can't pay them what we pay the headliner.
Yeah, I mean, I remember them used to trying to like squeeze you into like being an extra or something, so they wouldn't have to like pay you scale or anything like that. It's like, well, put them in an extra, and then like we'll have choreography over here. And there's all these weird like, what are you doing?
Loopholes. Yeah. Anything to not have to pay you. And then Jay, so if you guys moved there, what did you say, 75?
75
to LA, and then Soap started in 77, right? Was that right?
Yeah, quick.
That's pretty quick to land on a
looking back on it, it was like impossible. I mean, that's like the American dream. But thank God Andy got the Carol Burnett show before I got Soap.
I can't even, like, I'm still.
I know.
We got to rock.
Still thinking about Dolly and Carol, and I'm like,
Yeah, our icons, of course.
yeah.
I have to talk about my wife because I love her so much, but her career has been so much bigger than mine, but it's been so
true.
Visible because she's always the girl passing by in the back. Right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I used to go down to the rehearsals for the Carol Burnett show and just be in the audience at Television City. And Tim Conway, God bless him, he loved to do those bits, but he loved to do them live. He didn't want to give them away. But he had to communicate to the director that the director needed to stay on him because he had something to do, but he didn't want to do the joke. But he would say this, he would go, I have a saver. I'm gonna have a saver here, Dave. This is a saver. Okay, I have 3 savers here, Dave.
Oh, he's very confident.
Yeah. So I did what the saver was, and then, weeks later when I saw the actual show, I'm going, oh my God, that's a great saver. That's a great saver. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh God. I mean, that's television history. That is television history, and as was Soap. Like, I mean, that is both those shows are just so iconic.
Here's the interesting thing about Soap, and it's not so much about the show as it is just where television was at the time. And we started 77 through 82 or whatever that was. So late 70s, early 80s. We were canceled with a greater share of the television audience than Seinfeld enjoyed on a regular night. Because it was only 3
networks.
ABC, NBC, CBS. Period.
Right.
No HBO, no nothing. So if you were a third of the pie, you had a huge audience, but it still wasn't as good as the other 2 that had the bigger pie.
Wow.
So it was the golden age, Kind of like
Yeah, for sure. It's funny that I was in going. Obviously, we all know you from, originally from Soap. But then I was looking into. We don't usually do a bunch of research on our guests because we know them so well. But the one thing that really sort of tripped me out was the show that you had after Soap. The show, which was called So You Think You Got Troubles.
Yeah. Interesting show. Now,
Wow! Watched a couple clips.
Yeah, it was
Please.
Oh, yeah.
No, well, there are clips. I didn't put one on for tonight, but boy, let me just tell the audience that's anybody watching, go look up So You Think You Got Troubles. I'm going to talk about one. I want you to set it up, Jay, and then I'm going to talk about one of the shows that I saw, or one bit.
The show came to be. The people who did People's Court, that was Ralph Edwards and Stu Billett.
Yeah.
They had such huge success with People's Court that their distributors came and said, what do you got next? What do you got next year? This year. And they weren't sure, but Stu Billett used to work on a show called Who Do You Trust, which starred Johnny Carson and later became the Groucho Marx show,
Yeah. Okay.
Dan show.
Yeah.
So he had worked on it. They said, well, let's try to do that. So I was hired to be the modern day Groucho Marx / Johnny Carson on this game show that really wasn't a game show, more of an interview show.
Yeah.
But then they said, we have to have some sort of game. So the game was you get people who have problems and you make fun of that problem for 5 minutes. And Bob is with me. It's like, oh yeah.
Oh.
And then the person goes, yeah, well, and then you end and you go, okay, let's ask our experts. So we turn to a panel of experts, and there's a therapist, a psychic, and a religious thing, and they would give advice. The problem, it always ended their problem. Like if the guy was, if he loved shoes, he had a shoe fetish, and so at the end it's like, I love shoes, and so the religious person would go, well, that's just going to hell, you can't do that. And the psychic would go, well, according to your chart, you should be more into love. The audience then, if you're not lost, the audience was this one. The audience then picked which advice they thought the person would take if they were going to take the advice. So the rhythm of the show is this. So you go funny, interview, go to the experts. This is the crux to the show. And they go, well, this is a very serious problem, and you shouldn't do this because you're like this. So the show just goes like, oh,
Oh man!
They go to break, and they bring another person on. What's your problem? Well, I don't know. That was so they got
Yeah. So one of the clips I saw was this woman who had a sex change to become a man, and then realized that wasn't what she wanted, and wanted to have a sex change to become a woman again.
Yeah.
But her story was so heartbreaking. I'm watching this going, this is supposed to be lighthearted. And then, what I love the most is that here it's in the middle of the story and she's telling her story and she's being very, trying to be upbeat about it, but just, it's this sort of heartbreak like, oh God, she went through the entire surgery and then is like, oh, that's not what I needed to do. And there were no therapists at the time and nobody talked me through it and all of this. But what I love the most is that you're very, very sympathetic and then Bob is the one who gets to make the jokes and make fun of her.
That was it.
Not at all. I wish the show were on now. I really sincerely do, because I think it's what we need.
Well,
Ahead of its time.
So ahead of its time.
God.
Stu Billett really hit the nail on the head. At the time, all the shows that were going into syndication, which our show was, they were shows that we now know as Dr. Phil, Jerry Springer, all those kind of voyeur kind of
Pseudo,
shows.
yeah.
And so Stu said, that's going to be the big hit. Let's do a parody of that. And that's what it was. But it didn't get picked up. So we were doing a parody on something that really didn't exist. At the time.
wasn't there. Yeah.
It's a great experience.
Yeah.
I learned a ton about television and everything else, but
I'll bet. I don't know how, honestly, I was watching going, how did he do this? Because you really, you as a person, I know probably felt horribly for these people who were sharing their lives, their stories, but you're still, you're having to do your job.
And I've got a little partner here who's just about to have a joke that really is very offensive, actually. If I say, I'm so sorry you had that. And Bob says, well, do your kids get Mother's Day cards or Father's Day cards?
Exactly. Right. It's hilarious, but yes. Yeah, so funny.
Sandi,
so funny.
Sandi, I have a question for you. Being a dancer, being in the business for as long as you have been, how does your body feel these days?
Oh, yes,
Because mine doesn't feel great.
It feels great.
I'm just curious. I want the ailment stories because I have plenty.
I'm telling you, it's like after, a lifetime of doing this, and also I was a gymnast. So, on top of everything else, I did all the acrobatics and things like that. And my body is paying for it. I would say mostly, for me, it's knee and back, lower back. I have a whole group of friends who've all had hip replacements this year. That, knock on wood, seems okay, but yeah, you're going to pay for it. And I look at the fantastic dancers now, young, and it's like in the Olympics where athletes, succeed and exceed the group before them. That's what you do, and the dancers are the same. They physically are doing, we were not trained that way. I mean, I think if we had been that way, we would have. But they're going to have all these ailments about 10 years sooner. And that's going to be very hard. So that's my story. I've been taking Pilates. Pilates saves my butt. And Bagua, which is a Asian discipline. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I remember when So You Think You Can Dance started, and I was just like, ugh. Like I would just watch it and
I know. I love it. And I would watch it, and they're fantastic dancers, and I would go,
Fantastic
oh my
dancers,
God.
but I'm like, oh,
And
that's
they're gonna
gonna,
walk
that's
in
gonna,
another 2
yep,
years, you know?
yep,
It's like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, thank God I never had that talent.
Yeah, in my dancing career, I feel fine. You know, my
Oh, good, good, Jay. As long as you're good.
the 2 years I ever did.
I honestly can't imagine if I had been a dancer because already my knees and back are bad. So I can't even imagine what it must be like for you guys.
I've had friends who had hip replacements at 28. You know, like it was like,
yikes.
yeah. Yeah.
See, that's when I watch this, and I feel terrible for thinking that, but every time I do it, I go, oh, they're going to be having replacements very soon.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yep. Here's Richard Mamas. Respect to the dancers.
Yes.
That's right. That's
Yes.
right.
Richard.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes.
you.
And
Yes.
you know what?
But I wouldn't have traded it. I mean, if you
No.
that at
Wow.
the beginning of my career or the middle of my career, I wouldn't have made a difference. I'd have gone, well, I guess I'll deal with that then, and it had no meaning. But still, I wouldn't have changed. I mean, that is the difference, I think, now with dancers in particular. I don't know about others, but my generation of dancers, and it was our passion, and we didn't make any plan B or anything like that.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then I was lucky enough actually to continue to work off and on with then groups that were that could have all been my children.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah.
But I was always fascinated because invariably I'd look around the room or be hanging with them, you know, and they, to a person, all had plan A, plan B, plan C. You know, they were already working on other stuff that they were interested in and that they figured they'd go to when they didn't dance anymore. And
Wow.
I was amazed by the very concept of that you were just like, oh, you're tired of that now, you're going to move on. Wow, that's amazing. But
This was
It's
this is what my
smart.
plan B was. My plan A was to be a professional ballet dancer. That's all I did. It was ballet, ballet, ballet. My plan B was like, well, if that doesn't work out, I want to be one of the dancers on Carmen Sandiego. You know, like they did sketches and sang and danced. Did the whole. That was I was like,
That was your plan B.
yeah, that was my plan B. It was not like education or anything. It's like, well, I'm going to get that show if I don't do this ballet company. So
Wow. Wow. Confident again. I like it. I like it.
yeah, it's a good thing.
well, now
No,
and friends with
I
one of
wasn't
those
smart enough to
dancers.
have a plan B.
Well,
I mean, it's a lazy
I don't
plan
know.
B.
I mean, I was lucky enough to keep on going, and then all of a sudden, when I was a little more mature than they were looking for dancers, which I understand, then I suddenly went, oh, insurance, because I've been an independent contractor, so
Yeah.
he didn't have any health insurance.
Yeah.
So it was me, and I went, So then I went to friends, and I said, I could stand in. Dancers are really good at standing in for, you know, particularly for camera sitcoms.
Yeah.
Because we do the whole scene, and we have to. I mean, nowadays especially, I don't think they used to, but we do all the scenes. We have to, you know, at least be able to somewhat deliver a line. They're not expecting us to be the actors in the thing, but if we're going to be
No, I did the same thing. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
smart.
I went on to that, and that's what I've been doing for the last umpteen years.
Sandi was they call them rehearsal actresses for Kaylee Cuoco on The Big Bang Theory for 12 years, the entire run of the show. Everything that Kaylee did, Sandi did first and told her what to do. So I'm very proud of that.
I'm not retired.
But something like that. Yeah, sure.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
I did that too. Like one of my jobs out here in the beginning when I first moved out here was a stand-in for that show, The Swan. Do you remember The Swan?
Oh, I remember the name
I
of
don't.
it. I don't think I ever saw it, but
Oh, it's a horrifying reality show where they would, like transform these women in, 6 weeks or whatever through plastic surgery.
Oh yes, now I
But there was
remember it.
some choreography at the end of it, so they wanted to hire people who were able to move, and that was, so I was one of the stand-ins for that, and it was just, oh my gosh, those poor girls. Those poor girls.
Wow,
I mean,
that
I
was.
I got paid, but
I mean, look, it's you're staying in and around the business. I think it's great. I would do that in an instant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
better than, as my friend Harry used to say, better than putting on a yellow vest and picking crap off the freeway.
That's good point. Good point.
yeah.
And we should mention, Jay, that you won a Tony Award.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
You mean
Little thing.
That thing?
Oh, that old thing. That old thing. Yes.
In my entire life, if someone had said, you're going to win a Tony, I would have said, I'm not even comfortable in New York. I'm sorry. Now, if it said, I think you're going to an Emmy, I thought, yeah, television, best thing. But this was just the greatest thing that ever came into my life, because I realized that a Tony is given for performers that do it 8 times a week. 8 times a week. You never know when the voter's there. So you have to
That's true.
And it's not an Emmy that's based upon, like on soap, most of my stuff was 3 minutes long. I was on, I was off. I got a laugh, I was done. But the show I won the Tony for, that was 2 hours on stage, just me, nothing happening, no cut, no print. No
Yeah.
nothing. So,
Yeah.
so really proud of it. Really proud of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
In New York, props to the fact that anybody in the business there, a new person comes into town, if they're doing 8 shows a week, you're part of the group. You're brought right in.
Yeah.
Everybody just goes, yeah, you're one of us. And
Right.
Because after, as we all know, being here, that's entirely different, because there's, the people who.
Yes. There's echelons.
Yeah.
Echelons of exactly.
Broadway.
Yeah.
You're there or you're not, and everybody was so nice and so caring and so sweet, and if they had said you would continue to do that show for the rest of your life right there at that theater, I would still be doing it, because it was that much fun.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I think
that live
theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, theater's a different beast for sure, and it's
like the blue collar
theater
worker.
actors, theater performers are work so hard. So many people don't realize that, and it is the least respected medium, I think. I mean, that's kind of changing a little bit.
A little bit. Everything's
And
changing.
yet, for me and for most people that I know, there is nothing as exciting as performing a live audience.
Nothing.
No,
And that
It's
moment,
true.
You only have that one moment.
That's true.
Chance to get it right that night. You can come back
That's right.
But,
That's right.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
thrilling. That was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've Dave and I have talked about before. Just conversations where. He's like, no, theater's too much work. People have asked him to do shows. He's like, that's too much work. And I'm like, yeah, it is. That's what I do.
So
It's too much
great.
work.
It's great though. It's just like
It is.
it's just like the through line, that continuity of being able to just like your energy going through an entire show, and then afterwards hanging out with your cast members and coming up with new shit. Maybe we're going to do this next time. Like, I don't know. There's the whole experience. And in particular, for some reason this week, I've just really been jonesing. Like, I'm like, I just can't wait till we can like be on stage together again and
Oh, I
do
know.
a show live. It's
I feel so bad for the performers and the actors and.
especially the young ones who were just like starting out, and it's like, oh.
Hey,
I
at some point, Hamilton is going to perform again. Hamilton at the theater.
Can you imagine?
Sometime, but they haven't done that show since March.
Yeah.
So how much do you have to relearn, get your body ready?
Yeah.
I mean, people forget that doing a show every night, you keep your energy, you keep your tone up.
Your muscle memory, everything.
It's gonna be
it's true. It's true. Yeah. Well, I can't wait for that. I can't wait.
A wild one.
Yes.
Can't wait.
All of us.
Well, I would love to share a couple of first of all, some photos that I pulled of both of you that I'd love to show first, and then I've got a couple of videos. But the photos, maybe you can just, you can sort of tell me, just to tell us a little bit about them to start with. All right, here's number one. Look at that.
Yeah. That was obviously Ben Vereen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carol Burnett show. Got to do our thing.
Carol, but
I'm the one on his left.
yes, right there. And then of course with Carol Burnett. There you are.
I love this picture. This is one of my favorite pictures of all time.
It's great. It's great.
This is my sister. Was my sister, and she was a New Yorker. She and my brother both went to New York and did Broadway. I came out here.
Oh wow.
Claudia was visiting. Her name was Claudia.
Oh,
Hey.
And that's not a name that you hear very often, and it's so beautiful. I love that name. Anyway.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
Claudia was in town, and they needed some extra dancers. We were doing a big production number on the show, and so I went to the choreographer and asked if, about my sister, and he said, sure. So she was so excited because she thought, at the time, she was like telling everybody that she would be the redhead. Well,
No.
all in red wigs, and so she was like,
That's what happens to my siblings when they come out to visit. It's like if we're doing a show, it's like, oh, you're doing it.
They end up in the show. Yeah.
You're doing
All right.
Oh.
The great Gregory Hines.
the great Gregory Hines.
And Claudia again.
Claudia. Claudia did Sophisticated Ladies in New York on Broadway, and then when they were going to do it out here, we did it at the Schubert. I did it at the Schubert.
Oh wow.
So that was really fun. And Gregory gave me my second piercing of one of my ears, because I kept going, I want a second hole in one. And Gregory went crazy one night when I said that. He went, oh, no, don't get it done. I'll do it. And I did my wife's, I did my daughter's. I'm going to do it. So
No way.
He got ice and said that was the hardest part, was freezing my ear. And then he pierced it with another.
Now,
wow.
This was at the Schubert, which unfortunately is no longer here anymore.
I know.
No.
Yeah, no.
I saw Evita there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Evita. Yeah. Claudia was in Evita.
Yeah,
Oh, she was?
She was amazing. She did so many things and was part of AMDA in New York.
Yeah, she taught.
Okay.
But I would get to go backstage, and I would actually get to be backstage right when the show was going on. Sophisticated Ladies.
Oh.
And
Wow.
a couple times when I was there, Gregory, after one of the wonderful numbers that he'd go up and down the stairs and whatever it was, the music would end, but for maybe 8 to 16 bars after that, he would continue on because he was just in the moment, in the mood, had something to do. And I got to see maybe 2 of those, and they were, I can't describe it. Watching Gregory in a daze doing his dance is like being in show business heaven.
He was
Wow.
He was magical.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then there's this.
Oh my God.
Heaven. And first of all, I have to say, no one is more disciplined and works harder than Steve.
Really?
This is what I've heard, yeah.
And he, this movie, it was not English, or maybe it was, I don't know. It had been done before, and it was not, a successful, so they were going to remake it with Steve.
Right.
And he was wonderful, and he had to dance and sing, and he was, at the time, he and Bernadette were a couple too. So,
right.
But he would come and watch us rehearse and then get it. And he worked so hard. And such a gentleman. And he invited a group of us to lunch one day at the commissary. It was very sweet. And he was very
Aw.
Well, there
So-
is a video of him and Gregory Hines dancing together, and I
Yes.
forget what that's from, but he's fantastic, even
He
next to
delivers.
Gregory. Like,
did it. He worked.
Yeah.
I mean, he has to do it 50 times more than anybody else. That's a dancer.
that's
He does
yeah,
it.
Right.
that's that's amazing.
Yeah.
That one of the stories that I will tell on Sandra's behalf, when they were doing Finish from Heaven, there were like a lot of dancers, and it was done at Paramount, and Cary Grant was on the board of Paramount.
Oh,
one day-
wow.
Paramount, wasn't it?
Um,
20th century. So one day they said, Mr. Grant's coming over, he wants to say hi, he wants to see what's going on. And like, so everybody lines up to meet Cary Grant, of course.
Well, actually, the girls, there was 20 something of us in this number, and we had been standing all day long for the DP in 2 lines right across from each other. And we've been there since, like 8 in the morning, and it's now 6 o'clock, and we are pretty much fried. And Cary Grant walks in the room, and of course, oh my God, he's gorgeous. Even old, he was.
Mhm.
white.
Yeah.
And he comes in,
Heartthrob.
and we got the giggles all on our own because I realized for me that standing directly opposite me on the other line was a Judy, and a Judy. But he never actually said,
No.
but we got hysterical. We couldn't stop laughing because that's all we could think of was, oh, Mr. Cransy got to come down and meet Judy.
Judy. Wow. Cary Grant. My gosh.
Oh,
And then one more. 'Cause I'll be showing a clip from this.
oh,
This
Mary
is the.
Poppins, she actually did after the Mary show that was such a ginormous hit. Mary wanted to do a variety show.
yeah,
She'd grown up as a dancer, and
Yeah.
that she loved it. So we took ballet class. She had a studio built in her home, and she would invite us over, and we would take ballet class together. And
Oh, how nice.
she wanted to do this variety series, and her husband Grant at the time, he wouldn't have it, and he said, "Okay, if you're doing it, you're on your own." And
all right, bye.
he stepped back, and unfortunately, the producers, the way it was done, we did some terrific stuff, but they were so afraid that she should be seen as anything other than Mary, Mary Palomore, that it just never quite hit. Although I will say, interestingly, that this was the first gig for Swissy Kurtz, if you know her,
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah. I saw him in a clip.
Letterman
Yep.
Letterman was our warm-up guy, and it was his first gig doing warm-up.
Who's your warm-up guy?
Yes, he was.
Wow.
So yeah, and there are the dancers. And Mary,
That's amazing.
And we had a great time. Sadly, it was not a huge hit, and so but we did a couple
Well.
of seasons, I think, or something. But anyway.
Oh, well, that's not so bad.
She had another dance movie that she made 6 weeks with Dudley Moore.
Oh.
Which is like one of my
Yeah.
like a family favorite of ours that we
Aw.
watched all the time.
Extremely talented lady, Mary.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We're on to Jay now. Here we go. Of
Uh-oh.
course.
Well, who's Stacy? Who's Stacy, I wonder. Well,
Yeah. I wonder. All the best.
That's the original Bob. That's like the first year of soap, maybe. Yeah.
So who's
Yeah.
the one that's in the Smithsonian?
Yeah. That's
That's the one. Okay, because I have
Wow.
I was going to ask about that. I saw that he's in the Smithsonian now.
Yeah. And that was just. Now, okay, this is Bob. the little guy on my left is Rocky Punchinello, and he is, if you're a ventriloquist, Frank Marshall was a carver of ventriloquist puppets. And he did Jerry Mahoney, he was involved in Charlie McCarthy, he did all the big hard figures at the time. But it's a great story. He was also addicted to heroin. And if he could knock these little puppets out in about a day, so he would make these up when he had some spare time to keep them. And when he needed a fix, he would run out on the street or anywhere and sell one of those little tiny, we call them Tommy Knox, dressed as a sailor. And he would sell them for whatever he could get, $10, $5, $2, $3 for drugs. So nobody knows how many there are, who has them.
I was just thinking that. Wow. All over the place.
Yeah, could be anywhere. And I got this one, and I decided he should be used, so I turned him into a tough guy. So he's the smallest little hitman you ever want to know. And he's so tough. He has a tattoo of mother across his shoulder, but there wasn't a tattoo, it's just moth. Yeah. And down front, that's Squeaky. And my one-man show is really all about how Bob replaced Squeaky when we went to Soap. And kind of sticking in the corner there is Phil O'Dendron, world's only talking
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Phil O'Dendron. Phil O'Dendron's funny because Phil was.
Let's go back to him.
I remember the day I thought about creating that character, and I actually sewed him and did the whole thing. I was watching The Tonight Show, and Joan Rivers was on, and it was the time when people were talking to the plants, playing music for their plants and stuff.
Yes.
And so Johnny said, "Joni, do you talk to your plants and play music?" And she said, "My plants have finally said, shut up." And I went, "A talking plant, the one that gets back." So that was Phil O'Donnell.
That's great.
Yeah.
So this is the Bob that's in the Smithsonian, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely.
With that outfit and everything. Oh, okay.
And that's his little Hawaiian outfit, and I had one.
Wow.
Like it, and yeah.
That's pretty incredible to have something in the Smithsonian.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that was
amazing.
Said, "Oh my God, you're a part of American culture."
We have
your American culture, history,
I believe.
Go ahead. They move exhibits around, but for a while, he sat next to Jerry Seinfeld's puffy shirt, and Oscar the Grouch, and who was the other? Anyway, the other two. Anyway.
I sing with a man who goes by Elvez, Robert Lopez, who's been in our shows before. Elvez, the Mexican Elvis, and he has had some of his costumes are in the Smithsonian now, or at least one. Yeah, there's one major one that's in the that's in the Smithsonian. Happened several years ago. Maybe it's been 10 years, but
Now you
you
don't just say, "Hey, I'd like to send something to you," and they go, "Oh, we got a big museum."
Yeah.
It was quite an exhaustive kind of vetting that they had to do before they would say, "Yes, we will." But when they said yes, they wanted me to write a provenance. They wanted to know everything about everything about everything about everything. So process took about a year.
Wow, did it really? Wow, I didn't know that. These are just a couple of your other characters, right?
Darwin is the monkey, and Spalding is the tennis ball there. And Spalding was when we did our show on Broadway. Spalding would the set was a scoop set, so it had suitcases and it came down. So at some point they had a little mechanism, and that tennis ball would just roll down the set like a pinball, and just right there in front of my feet. And I'd pick it up and do the routine. Well, occasionally he would not stop, and he would go right in the pit, and I would have to get another. So about 1 out of 10 times he would go to the pit. So when they shut it down and said, "Okay, we'll have to fix that," it was like they had to call in union guys, and so it was like hundreds of dollars to readjust this spring so it would fall right there. So they spent all that money. He would do it twice, and then boom, in the pit again. So that's the most expensive character on Broadway.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
It's hilarious. What I love though too about Spalding is just the found objects that you can just turn a found object into a puppet. I love that.
And at this point of the show, I'm talking about being a young kid and using what you have around you, and so it was appropriate. Yeah.
And then this is when you won your Tony, of course.
Oh my God! Great night. I remember this was the first year that they let you take the Tony home. Before it was a prop. It said, "Here it is," and when you got off stage, you take it back, and the next one would say,
Really?
Take it back, and but everybody said, "I want to go to the party with the Tony."
Well, when they engraved it, then of course.
Right, then they would engrave it,
yeah.
right?
But so this was the Tony that I got. I got to keep it overnight, give it back, and I asked the company manager, the producer. I said, "Will I get the same one back, or will they just engrave one and send it to me?" He said, "Oh, they'll probably just engrave one." But they're all numbered, and that's the number that's still right there on the mantle. So I did.
Oh, wow! You did your due diligence there.
I guess. What a great night that was.
That's amazing.
Now, if you guys, we've kept you longer than we usually keep people because we've just had so much to talk to you about. If you're still okay with it, we'd love to show some videos. If you need to go, we understand. But if you're good to hang out for a few more minutes.
We're good.
You're
everybody
good?
else left out there, we're amazed, but we're in a pandemic, and
Oh, you were?
Right.
You didn't
All right,
have
good.
a big Friday night out plans?
this is it.
This is good. Yay! All right.
So sorry.
Well then, this is what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna start with this one, which is we talked about the Mary Tyler Moore. I'm gonna show just a little bit of it because I want to show. You're kind of featured in this a little bit there. So look for Sandi in the turquoise.
Walk away.
I'm gonna giving you a little setup here. Oh, this is with the great Dick Van Dyke, by the way.
That's to be honored. Can
Yeah.
be honored.
So I'd simply like to tell you how I'd like to see you walk. If you walked into my
I've seen this so many times, and I'm not, my mind
Have
is
you?
gone right now. Oh, yeah. And now I'm just like,
There's the kind of walk you walk when you feel like crowing. There's the kind of walk you walk when you're on your way. There's the kind of walk you walk when your pride is showing. There's the kind of walk
There you are. Look at that.
That walk
Love it.
when the world's all rainbow and your heart's hopping like
Let it go a little bit more. We'll get another glimpse of you. There you are.
Twirl and go through.
when you're walking happy. Don't stop moving, world seem wide.
I love that.
I can't
Love that.
believe that was you. Oh,
And then, okay.
I've spent my life watching a dancer on stage go, this kind of way. Oh, there
yeah. Yeah.
All right. Here's another Sandi. Of course, we talked about this earlier too. Gonna just show a little bit of this, cause come on, how can we not?
Upstairs and pack the doors that way.
Woohoo!
So cute.
And we can get along. Well, howdy, boys. It's good to see you. Nice to meet you. Come on over here. I'd like you to meet my girls.
There she is.
Yeah, right in front.
Richard's wondering which one. I don't know. I can't point it out. Right there. Right there.
This is
Richard.
her. Yeah. She was at the top of the steps too. All right. All right, I'll pause that now too. I think we got some good clips of Sandy there.
Watch the whole show now.
I know. I would. Trust me.
I'll tell you a story about that very number.
Oh, please.
Now, during the movie, there's another number where they all go down to G Street. And so Sandy,
Yes.
I said, okay. And so Sandy said, well, you can come down. So I went down to watch it. And by the time they got ready to film, they said, too many people, everybody gone, so I didn't get to see it.
People came from out of the
Yeah.
woodwork. There must be
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
that day at Universal, because we were sitting in Universal, there were like 100 people showed up. And finally,
Yeah.
they went, okay.
Sure.
That was, I believe, was that the courtyard scene, the dance when the football players come? Yes, I decided not to show that clip.
So here's
She's
later.
got to make sure everything's on the up and up. So I got to be here.
No censor. So years later, I'm in Atlantic City. I think I'm opening for Whitney Houston. I'm not sure. Maybe.
I'm sorry, what? Are you just casually? What did you just say? Casually?
Yeah.
I may have been. Okay.
Well, I don't remember the exact time who I was opening for, but I remember I was in Atlantic City, and a friend of mine came down from New York, and he saw the show, and he said, "What do you want to do afterwards?" I said, "I don't know." And he said, "There's this great drag show down the way," and I went, "Oh, not really my thing, but okay, if you want to go see it, great." So remember the drag show? And it's a great show, big production show, and the star of the show, the finale, is a guy who is doing a drag queen who is doing Dolly Parton really well. I mean, really well. The finale of his act, her act, is that number, little bitty percent, da 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 da, and all the other guys come out and they recreate the number you just saw. They do that number.
Wow. Wow.
But what I realized is that I'm looking at this. I'm not looking at the guys doing Dolly, who's center. I'm looking at some guy in
Yeah.
red that's going all over the thing
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I am so used to following Sandra, and this guy was doing Sandra's part. He was tracking her part in that number.
Wow.
And I realized that's why I was watching, and I kind of felt like, is this right? Am I okay? I mean, I really have feelings for this guy. Lennox.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, let's do one last one. We're gonna show, one of your favorite clips and mine. Soap was an incredible show, but this is a very hilarious clip of. This is when Jody, who's played by Billy Crystal, is hiding Bob. I don't know if there's anything other setup you want to do, but
Well, only
kinda
the fact is that Billy Crystal and I wrote this scene. He came to me one day and he said, "Chuck is always seen with Bob. What would happen if somebody took Bob away? What would he do?" Kicked it around, and we pitched it, and this is what happened.
all right.
Good morning.
Jody, have you seen Bob?
Bob who?
Bob. My Bob.
Oh, Bob!
Yeah.
No.
I don't know what happened. I was in the bathroom. He was still sleeping, and when I came back, he was gone.
Maybe he ran away.
No, I just have this awful feeling something happened to him.
Chuck, why don't you sit down? I want to talk to you.
I can't, Jody. I can't sit down and talk. Bob is missing.
Well, maybe by the time we finish talking, Bob might turn up.
You do know where he is, don't you?
Sit down.
All right. Where is he? What did you do with him?
Listen, Chuck, recently I've been getting some very nasty notes, like that one. That's vicious, Chuck. That hurts. And they're all signed Bob Campbell. Yes.
Well, I'll have a talk with him.
Chuck, why are you sending me these notes?
What are you talking about, Jody? You just said Bob was sending these notes.
Chuck, you are Bob.
And if he is, I'm going to sit down and really give him hell for it, that's for sure.
Chuck, for God's sakes, you can't talk to him. You are him. Every time I try to talk to you, Bob answers, Chuck.
Hello there! What's the matter, Jody? You look upset.
I'd like to talk to Chuck.
Oh, how about talking to me? I'm in season, sleep, just like Bob.
No. I understand all. I don't believe this. I'm having a conversation with a grapefruit here. Chuck, look, Chuck, it's food, Chuck. See? What? It's just food. Chuck, if you're joking, cut it out. I just would like to talk to you.
Away! As one fruit to another.
What? Chuck. Look, it's food. See? It's food, Chuck. You need help, Chuck.
Hello there. I'm feeling there's nothing.
Chuck, no, look, Chuck. See? It's food. See, Chuck, it's food. Chuck, you really can see a doctor, Chuck. Chuck! For God's sakes, Chuck, listen to me, would you? Nobody wears a Windsor nut anymore.
I'm gonna heat up some bagels. Anybody want one?
No, thanks.
I'll talk to you later, Chuck.
I love bagels. Love them, Even though they are one of mankind's most dangerous foods, which is something most people don't know. For instance, there's absolutely no safe way to slice a bagel, except maybe you get somebody to do it for you. I mean, you have no idea how many people have sliced an index finger in half along with a bagel. I mean, you go to any synagogue. I mean, you'll see a majority of the congregation has a finger missing. Bagels. And of course, there's being electrocuted. I mean, you put a bagel in a toaster, right? One half's always a little too fat. You squeeze and you push it in anyway, right? Then it won't come up. Starts to smoke. You stick a knife in to get it out. The lights go out in town and you do a jig. Which is why I always use the oven and a lot of butter. And some butter here. There we go.
You're sick, you know that? You're really sick. I got a nose in there. You're gonna kill me. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if you killed Peter. Yeah. You try to choke Chuck, freeze me. You're sick, you know that? You know that little light stays on, does it? Yeah.
Man, that's good. That's good. There aren't shows like that.
I'm
Yeah.
a huge Warner Brothers cartoon, Looney Tunes freak. I mean, I believe the world, my philosophy is the world according to Looney Tunes. And The Little Light Stays On, I threw that in kind of as an ad lib, and they said, okay, we have to keep that because we needed a tag. But that's what every Warner Brothers character, Daffy Duck on, said when they came out of the refrigerator. They would go, the little light stays on. So I totally ripped it off.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's very funny. I was having the best time today going through clips for both of you guys. It was a great day. made my day today. We should mention also your one person show, John Carney. What amazing careers! That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a comment. There we go. Your Broadway show is available on Amazon. People can watch it on Amazon.
It streams on Amazon, yeah. And as much as you can put a live show on tape, film, I think we did a good job. But
Yeah.
you know, I'd rather you see it live anytime. So,
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for you to do it again.
me too.
Yes.
And you guys, it has been delightful, absolutely delightful speaking to you both.
So awesome. Yes, Sandy, you have the career that
Thank you.
Seriously, it's like the career that inspired me to do what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
Well, I can just tell you, enjoy it, carry on with whatever it is that, make sure
that my body will let me do at this point.
Yes. My body will let you do it. There is that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you both for being here.
Guys, chat with
Yep.
you, and
Love to Dave.
thanks for having us.
Thank-
It was our
Thank
my
you.
God.
Our first show of the 2021. So we're off to a good start.
This was a good deal. This was a good deal.
Yes.
All right. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining us. And the rest of you out there, please go follow us on, go subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on all the social medias. We're Studio CNC. That's Claudia. Our names are right there. You've got our things. You
We're
can do
lazy.
it.
CNC,
You can do
Claudia
it.
and Crissy.
You can do it. Thank you all, and we'll see you on Monday morning for our morning talk show, CNC and Coffee, and then back here next Friday. All right. Thank you all. Bye.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.